It was April 8th, 2020, and Toronto was just about to go into one of the world's longest lockdowns. Desperate parents, condo dwellers, and most Torontonians were going to be looking at their living spaces through a different lens. Never before had their homes have to be a home office, a school, a gym, entertainment, and their living space.
And everyone knows what happened next.
Yeah.
People left the city in droves. Now that many things have returned back to normal, do they regret it? Toronto Life actually did a story called The Big Return, and we are going to discuss it.
Yeah, I think some of them do regret it.
I do too.
And that's what Toronto Life thought as well. Before we get into the video, I'm Stephanie Nause with the Homeplicity Realty Group.
And I'm Nicole Shlass.
And we are passionate about helping our clients build and develop wealth through real estate. If you're interested in tips on buying a home, selling a home, or investing in Toronto real estate, we hope you'll consider subscribing to our channel. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and give us a like. And let's talk about this article. I had 3 people screenshot this and send it to me and say, you called this. And the reality is there were a lot of people that had very good reason to be leaving the city during the pandemic, but the situation was never going to be permanent. And that's why I felt like some of our clients and a specific demographic, which we'll get to, I thought that they would come back. And the reason for that is because there's a few really main big draws for the city that are never going to go away. And once things started opening up again, they would be back. And a lot of the people that left the city, I thought that they would be back too. So I think the main thing and the main draw where we get people coming and saying we want to live closer to the city is they freaking hate that commute. It is long. Even if there's no accidents, it can still be an hour and a half each way, especially in the winter time.
And we do not have good drivers in Toronto.
I mean, we know that I'm not the best driver anyway, but I just think that people don't want that 2 or 3 hour cut into their time that gets tacked on to the end of the day, especially after working 9 to 5 in your home where you literally roll out of bed and you're at work. So I think that was a big adjustment for people when stuff started opening up again.
For sure. And on top of that, you have gas prices now, insurance, paying for parking in the city. All of this adds up.
Yeah, well, especially if you've increased your budget to be in a larger house too. Those are extra expenses that you didn't have before. And I think the other thing to be mindful of is that Toronto is a world-class city with world-class schools. And we have people from all over the globe who come here and they're going to be studying. They need a place to live. So now that the schools are opened up again, the renters are here, and now that the rental market's recovering a little bit, we are seeing the investors come back into the market and purchasing the condos.
Yeah, and lifestyle.
Yeah.
The city will always draw people in for culture, entertainment, restaurants, events, and to be honest, we even have better food delivery services.
Yeah, Uber Eats, you can get whatever you want. There's 5 different restaurant choices for anything that you could ever want. I mean, look, the pandemic hit and people had to really revisit how they were going to be using their living spaces. And they were spending 35% more time on average in their home than they were before. And their homes were going from a place of like family, relaxation, and leisure to, exercise, working, schooling, all the things. And I think it was just not manageable for people.
No, and we had extended lockdown after lockdown after lockdown with no sign of returning to the office. So a lot of, people were looking at their living situation, especially if you were in a small condo with no dedicated workspace. That got very difficult. If you were living at home in an average Toronto house, which we all know is not that large, you have 2 parents working from home, you have kids being homeschooled. The draw to leave the city and have more space and a larger backyard was a no-brainer.
I think people were just looking at their current situation
and thinking, now what?
Well, just thinking it like they were in the moment and thinking this is completely unmanageable. And they were just all in each other's space. And I think they made a decision for that time in their life that
for their family.
For their family.
What works.
Yeah, that just made a lot of sense. And, condos, on the other hand, while home prices in Toronto were surging, we saw condo prices really coming down. And the bottom of the market was really November of 2020. We couldn't give our condo listings away. It was tough. It was tough to move them. And, you know, the prices were off almost 20% in some areas. And really, like, nobody wanted to live in a condo. Your building amenities were shut down, especially the studios or one bedrooms. You didn't have a dedicated workspace.
Living on top of each other.
Two
with the fear of the
people.
pandemic. I live in a condo and it was tough.
Yeah, the elevators, the masks, like just all the things that were so convenient and amazing about the condos. Having to go up and down in those elevators was actually
very stressful.
It was stressful and a big deal, right? And then we also saw people leaving their rental units and not even renting them. Rents went crazy, decrease, and the vacancy rates were skyrocketing. Landlords were selling their condos, and that just brought more inventory in the market, which we know supply and demand is like a big factor in pricing. And investors really just sat on the sidelines. They pulled their money off the table. I even had some clients that sold their properties and ended up renting for a couple of years. So
But let's flash forward now to summer of 2022, when offices are opening back up. Workers who have now moved to the outskirts of the city, so, you know, Kitchener, Hamilton, London, Whitby, are looking now at commuting back to the city.
I mean, we all knew it was going to happen at some point.
But I don't think we realized what else would happen. So our gas prices have gone up, like we said. If you're taking the GO train, that has gone up. The price of a Presto card, parking, traffic, kids are now back in school, so you have to be home at a certain time.
Daycare.
Again, the extra home costs. So do they regret it? And as we said, I feel like some people do.
Yeah, some people do for sure. And if you're also considering that there's a lot of families now where one or both parents are going to be commuting at least a couple days a week, sometimes 5 days a week back and forth, they just might not feel right now that extra commute and the extra costs that they're incurring now are worth the extra space that they traded off for, that they really needed at the time though, right? So I think we're put in a situation now where there's going to be a lot of people who are looking at their home and what they're using it for and weighing those pros and cons again.
Another just re-examination of a living situation.
And I do think that who we're going to see coming back, who we have seen coming back, is those people that really enjoy condo living. Nikki and I have talked about this so many times. Like, I'm a condo person. I live in a house. But the spirit of me as a condo person, I love the ease of it, the concierge, the lifestyle. I like being able to walk out and have things. And I think that there's those people that we are seeing already returning to the market. We're seeing the rental prices coming up, and we're seeing that those people who moved in with their families are back renting in the city. They're back purchasing.
Rental rates have skyrocketed.
Yeah, 30%. And I think that we can really agree that the one bedroom condo dweller, like, they're back.
They're back.
They're back in the city. And this is the demographic that I always felt would be coming back, just because of that lifestyle. They literally are just using their condos to sleep. They work long hours. They want to be able to walk. You know, they do their gym.
The typical city life.
Yeah.
The minimalist city life. Your home is more like your crash pad and the city is your home.
And I mean, we had a couple different scenarios. I mean, we sold a lot of properties during the pandemic, a lot of condos, and there was a couple different scenarios that played out that I think make sense to share. So the first one, we had one of our potential clients reach out and want to sell her space. She worked at a law firm. She works really long hours, but she's also the person that loves to go out, and she basically just uses her condo to sleep. And that was one of the things that I asked her. Did you like your condo before the pandemic? Did it work for you? And she said yes. So instead, we looked at doing some redesign and repurposing furniture.
It was like a whole new place.
Yeah, because, you know, we could see that there were signs that things were going to start opening up again. And I really don't think that she would have been happy living outside the city. And then on the flip side, we had one of my very good college friends who sold her studio apartment. This girl is social. She is a foodie. She loves going out. I was afraid that she was going to be miserable. She bought a townhouse in Ancaster. She did have family there, but I was concerned that she was going to be calling me saying, I want to come back into the city.
She loves it.
She loves it there.
She's not coming back.
Yeah, she's happy. She loves having a backyard and barbecuing and doing that thing. So, you know, I think that there's really two different scenarios here.
For sure. What do you guys think? Did any of you leave the city? Have you come back to the city? Have your friends come? Did they love it? Did they hate us? Please leave some comments down below. We'd love to hear your story.
Yeah.
your pandemic story.
Yeah, share your pandemic story with us. Thanks again for watching until the end. If you enjoy our content, I hope that you'll like and subscribe. You can follow us at Homeplicity Realty on Instagram and Facebook for other content that we don't share here on YouTube. And if you are interested in knowing the value of your property, if you would like a custom list of homes for sale, please feel free to reach out. We are nice.
See you guys next week.
Bye.